Who is Diprusion Gebremikail? Tigray leader. Debrision Gebremikail, the timid leader leading the Tigrayan rebellion against Ethiopian rule. A workaholic who loves tennis and communications. No one expected that the man his friends describe as a shy workaholic, who loves working in secret, and who always said that his goal is to achieve technological development as the main engine of the progress of his people, will be under the spotlight today as an engine of conflict in the Tigray region. The Ethiopian, and one of the names on the wanted list by the Ethiopian government. But it seems that Debrision Gebremikail, the leader of the Tigray region, has been preparing for this conflict for some time, when he called on the youth, at a conference in Mekelle, the provincial capital, in 2018, to prepare for all possibilities. This followed his defeat in the elections by the now ruling coalition headed by Abi Ahmed in April 2018. For your information, most of the inhabitants of the Tigray region are Orthodox Christians, and the region in northern Ethiopia includes the ruins of the city of Aksum, one of the cities registered on the World Heritage List, dating back to the period between the 1st century and the 13th century, and includes castles, royal tombs, and a church, and the Tigrinya language is considered the main language of the region, and one of its most important resources. Sesame crop. Debrision Gebremikail, the man who brought events to the forefront of Ethiopian politics, was born in 1950 in the Tigray region in northern Ethiopia. He grew up in the provincial city of Shira Enda, where he was known among his friends as the intelligent, conservative city boy. He is married and has a child, and if he enjoys playing sports, especially tennis, then he loves work and politics more, and he even worked on vacation, on Saturdays. Indeed, Gebremikail describes his life as strange, as he managed to move from an irregular fighter hiding in the rugged Tigray mountains to power, becoming Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Deputy Prime Minister, and President of the Tigray region. He is a religious member of an Orthodox Christian family, and his first name means Mount Zion, while his father's name means servant of Saint Michael. The beginning of the struggle. Gebremikail was distinguished from a young age by his educational attainment. He was described as the best student in the region, and he always got excellent grades. It is said that he excelled in technology since his childhood, repairing batteries and electrical equipment, and was able to make a lamp out of scrap when he was a student in elementary school. But it seems that the political ambition of the city boy was greater than his scientific ambition. He left Addis Ababa University in the 70s of the last century, to join the ranks of the fighters in the war that was led by the Tigrayan Liberation Front against the Marxist regime in Ethiopia at that time. It is known that the Tigrayan Liberation Front is an Ethiopian revolutionary movement that led a fierce war for 17 years against the Marxist regime, and was able to win, and then control power from 1991 until the coming of Abi Ahmed in the 2018 elections, when it lost the front and the alliance that was represent him after becoming a model for political oppression for more than 27 years. After Gebremikail left the university and the political and military rise in the ranks of the Tigrayan Liberation Front in the 1970s, in 2005 he assumed the position of Director of the Ethiopian Communications and Information Technology Authority. In 2007 he launched a telecommunications infrastructure project at a cost of $1.5 billion, and in 2012 he was appointed Minister of Communications and Information Technology, and Deputy Prime Minister. Then, in 2015, he contributed to launching a free trade zone with Sudan, and in 2017 he led a project to establish a technology park, and was determined to create more technology parks, and in the same year he was elected president of the Tigrayan Liberation Front, then in January 2018. Elected vice president of the Tigray region. It seems that the scientific distinction of Gebremikail prompted the front commanders at an early time to include him in the technical unit, and there he contributed to the development of the intelligence front's capabilities, especially in terms of spying on the Ethiopian army's talks and interfering with its wireless communications, which played a major role in enabling the front to win the war. Regarding that stage, Gebremikail says, in statements published in the book Communication Policy in Africa by Igno Gagliardoni, that communications were the focus of the battle, but rather was an essential element in our struggle. We really need to convert people to make them think differently, and without good and deep communication you will not be able to change people, he added. Voice of the Revolution Radio. Indeed, to develop his technical skills, the front sent him to Italy with a forged passport to study communication technology. Upon his return, he worked with a team of members of the front to launch a radio station called Dimetsi, which means Voice of the Revolution, in 1980, and this radio led a propaganda war against the ruling Marxist regime in the country led by Mengistu Haile Mariam. Gebremikail was famous during that period as one of the most prominent electronic hackers who were leading the jamming and piracy operations on the system's radio and television broadcast systems. They would load small broadcast equipment onto donkeys and camels and hide in the mountains in order to avoid being tracked, according to Nicole Stremlow in his book Media, Conflict, and the State in Africa. For your information, this radio is still present today, as part of a multilingual media group, based in Mekele, capital of the Tigray region. This radio played a role worth mentioning during the recent conflict, when it issued statements against Abiy Ahmed. This subjected it to interference, before returning to broadcast again. On the other hand, following the victory of the Tigrayan Liberation Front in its 17-year war and its control of power in 1991, Gebremikail joined Addis Ababa University again, from which he obtained a bachelor's and master's degree in electronic engineering, and according to available information, he obtained a doctorate remotely from Capella University, an American for-profit university, in 2011, on trends of technology users and the effectiveness of technology in combating poverty in Ethiopia. Gebremikail's repeated statements show his great interest in technology and digital transformation, but at the same time he believes that changing the human mind and the way they deal with technology is the most important challenge facing the digital transformation process. Accusations of murder, torture and espionage. However, apart from technology, the policy and method of administration of Diprusion Gebremikail was still a matter of dispute between his supporters and opponents. What makes one when reading about him makes you feel as if he is in front of two different people. Among his supporters, he is a shy, reserved, friendly, and courteous man, especially with foreigners. He has led reform programs, contributed to the development of the country with technology, and always says that his door is open to all. Then he is a communications expert who believes in the importance of technology in the development of society. And he previously said in more than one interview, technology is the engine of development, and with it there must be a change of minds and culture, which is the biggest challenge facing the process of technological transformation. There is no doubt that he contributed to improving public services by launching the Technological Capacity Support Program. During his time in the Ethiopian government, he also managed the Electric Power Alliance, tried to modernize the energy sector that serves 115 million people, supervised the Renaissance Dam project, and continued in his position until Abiy Ahmed came to power. He also played an important role in expanding mobile phone coverage services and establishing an information technology park in Addis Ababa. However, his opponents have other opinions about him. For them, he is this man who was one of the leaders in the Tigrayan Liberation Front Security Administration, and he bore the name 06. This administration is accused of torturing and killing LTTE fighters who do not adhere to its ideology, as well as civilians who refuse to support the front and its ideas. Gebremikail participated with his colleagues in the security administration in killing an unlimited number of fighters. In any case, after Gebremikail joined political work in 2005, he was appointed director of the Ethiopian Information and Communications Development Agency, which was established in 1995, and also took over the position of Deputy Director of the National Intelligence Authority, and was responsible for managing a program to control government technological services, which allowed he has control over emails and personal information of the opposition, journalists, and civilians, according to reports by human rights organizations. Hence, it is accused of being an integral part of a government policy aimed at controlling and monopolizing communications by the state, and cutting internet services to the people during the protests. Although he became the strong man after the death of Meles Zenawi, the Prime Minister of Ethiopia from 1995 to 2012, observers believe that the comparison between the two men is not in the interest of Gebremikail. As Zenawi was a tactful and polite speaker, unlike Gebremikail, who is described as shy, calm, and speechless, as he does not have the political charisma that enables him to gather people around him. In the leadership of the territory, Diprusion Gebremikail, as already mentioned, was elected president of his party in 2017, and he became president of the Tigray region after elections held last September, receiving 98% of the vote. However, the government of Abiy Ahmed claimed that these elections were illegal, as the government made a decision to postpone it due to the repercussions of the COVID-19 virus, which sparked the conflict between Abiy Ahmed and Gebremikail, so that the effect was to place the latter on the lists of wanted people the government is currently pursuing. Gebremikail still refuses to negotiate, declaring that he will continue to defend his land, saying, "We are men of principles and are ready to die in defense of our right to manage our region." Because he considers himself one of the fighters who have done everything for the benefit of the people and the nation, he is challenging, stressing, "I cannot retreat, and whatever the circumstances I will do my best to do more." It is worth noting that the conflict between the two men dates back to 2018, when Abiy Ahmed won the competition for the position of head of the government coalition, and at that time Gebremikail was among the candidates, but he only got 2 votes, and at that time he commented, "Abiy Ahmed is immature, and he is not the right candidate," and in fact, this result was not strange after years of rule by the TBLF-dominated coalition, with dictatorship and suppression of the opposition. But the expected defeat did not prevent expressions of mutual cordiality and welcome at the beginning of Abiy Ahmed's rule, when the Ethiopian Prime Minister said, "The Tigrayans have mercy on Ethiopia, and it is the place where the invaders were defeated, and where our history is cooked." While Gebremikail welcomed the peace agreement that Abiy Ahmed signed with Eritrea, ending the political stalemate between the two countries, after years of border conflict from 1998 and 2000, and said that it is a great agreement that will provide tremendous opportunities for the country. Here, we recall that there was an alliance that lasted for 17 years between the Tigrayan Liberation Front and the Eritrean People's Liberation Front, where the two fronts fought together to overthrow the rule of Mengistu Haile Mariam, that war that killed about 60,000 people and caused hundreds of thousands of homelessness. After the war ended, Meles Zenawi supported his friend Isaias Afwerki, Eritrean leader, to gain independence in May 1991, but the alliance did not last long. Eritrea began to demand the demarcation of the border, and this sparked a conflict between the two countries in two rounds in 1998 and 2000, except that Abiy Ahmed came and signed a peace agreement to end the political stalemate between the two countries, and he was rewarded for this achievement by awarding him the Nobel Peace Prize. Also, the friendship between Gebremikail and Abi Ahmed did not last long. When Abiy Ahmed dissolved the Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, (EPRDF), and founded the Prosperity Party, during the past year, with the aim of uniting the country, far from ethnicities, the Tigrayan Liberation Front refused to join the new Abiy Ahmed party, and withdrew to its territory to start the hidden conflict, and then flared up on the ground 3 weeks ago. Civil war fears. Although Diprosian Gebremikail is considered one of the reformist leaders in the region, and he always says that he seeks development and not war, as he allowed 4 new parties to appear and run in the elections in the Tigray region, which are the elections that he won with the presidency of the region, but on the ground he has become an engine of conflict and war. This war, which forced about 40,000 people from the Tigrayans to flee to Sudan, displaced thousands, and damaged the infrastructure in the region, amid fears that the country will enter a devastating civil war. Who is Diprusion Gebremikail? Tigray leader. Debrision Gebremikail, the timid leader leading the Tigrayan rebellion against Ethiopian rule. A workaholic who loves tennis and communications. No one expected that the man his friends describe as a shy workaholic, who loves working in secret, and who always said that his goal is to achieve technological development as the main engine of the progress of his people, will be under the spotlight today as an engine of conflict in the Tigray region. The Ethiopian, and one of the names on the wanted list by the Ethiopian government. But it seems that Debrision Gebremikail, the leader of the Tigray region, has been preparing for this conflict for some time, when he called on the youth, at a conference in Mekelle, the provincial capital, in 2018, to prepare for all possibilities. This followed his defeat in the elections by the now ruling coalition headed by Abi Ahmed in April 2018. For your information, most of the inhabitants of the Tigray region are Orthodox Christians, and the region in northern Ethiopia includes the ruins of the city of Aksum, one of the cities registered on the World Heritage List, dating back to the period between the 1st century and the 13th century, and includes castles, royal tombs, and a church, and the Tigrayans language is considered the main language of the region, and one of its most important resources. Sesame crop. Debrision Gebremikail, the man who brought events to the forefront of Ethiopian politics, was born in 1950 in the Tigray region in northern Ethiopia. He grew up in the provincial city of Shira Enda, where he was known among his friends as the intelligent, conservative city boy. He is married and has a child, and if he enjoys playing sports, especially tennis, then he loves work and politics more, and he even worked on vacation, on Saturdays. Indeed, Gebremikail describes his life as strange, as he managed to move from an irregular fighter hiding in the rugged Tigray mountains to power, becoming Minister of Communications and Information Technology, Deputy Prime Minister, and President of the Tigray region. He is a religious member of an Orthodox